Hey, yo, it was disgusting. It was disturbing. Listening to Errol Spence's latest interview with Andre Ward, when he indicated that he did not even spar leading up to the biggest fight at the time of the sport of boxing. The biggest fight of his career. The welterweight undisputed. And you did not spar? And then he want to blame it on Derrick James, his trainer at the time. But you already had 30 plus fights. You should know how to train. You should know the magnitude of how this training camp should be leading up to the fight. The thing is, they don't care, because boxing has become a full-blown hustle to a lot of these what you call elite fighters. Boxing is not a sport. It's just a full-blown hustle, and everybody's hustling each other. The bad thing about it is now that these fighters are now hustling the boxing fans. We wanted more than them. They don't want to know more. They already reached a level where now they could hustle. You feel me? In the beginning, you got the promoters, you got the managers and stuff like that. They the hustle. But now the fighters are hustling the boxing fans. Look at the last several big fights or high profile fighters. Look how they fight. Look at Alexander Usyk versus Rico. That was a hustle. You know what I'm saying? Look at Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull and Terence Crawford. That was a hustle. Look at Tio versus Shakur Stevenson. Tio said, I gave them what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? That was a hustle. You know what I'm saying? Look at Stephen Fulton versus O'Shaquie Foster. These guys don't come prepared. They're not trying to lock in a fight to enhance their legacy. All they're doing is locking a payday. That's it. That's all they want to do. The promoters and the sanctioning bodies hustle the networks. When promoters lock in these network deals, they promise these network championship fights. But we all know this is how the sanctioning bodies and the promoters hustle the networks, because they come with these trinket belts. Every fight is a championship fight with all them belts. It's a hustle, man. In the beginning, put it this way, in the beginning, a manager will take his fighter out the country, Mexico and the Caribbean, get him 10 knockouts. And then to facilitate a deal with a promotional company, oh, look, my fighter got 10 knockouts, he's unstoppable. Boom, let's get him signed. Even the way that Jake Paul got into position into the WBA ranking, because everything is a hustle. There is no integrity in the sport of boxing. There's no morality. There is no integrity whatsoever from the top to the bottom. So listening to Errol Spence, it just tells you these fighters don't really care about daring to be great, being great. They don't care about the sport. It's not even a sport anymore. But it was very disturbing listening to Errol Spence that this is how they prepare. Look, for example, remember, look how Ryan Garcia performed versus Rolly. I just didn't have the killer instinct. I was off. You tell yo, these look at it. I mean, Devin Haney made up for it with the Brian Norman Jr. But look how he performed versus Jose Ramirez. What? Shout out to Bill, but Bill said we were securing the bag for Jose Ramirez. This is what it is. They do it. Most of these guys are doing it for the bag. And I'm not saying that, oh, you can't be compensated. Of course, I want everybody to be compensated. But all y'all gotta do is prepare for one night. Because at the end of the day, they're not baseball players. They're not football players. They're not NBA players. NBA players got 82 games. Baseball, 162 games. You can have an off night, nothing like that. All you got to do is go to the gym. 6 weeks of training camp. Prepare for one of the biggest fights. You're going to get paid millions. Nah, these guys want to even shortcut. They want a shortcut. It's only one event. These fighters only fight 1 to 2 fights a year. You telling me that you can't prepare yourself for that one fight, one event, one night of payday. Nah, these guys even cut short. It's not only Errol Spence. Most of these guys are like that. They're not preparing to the best of their abilities. And then all they got to do is hit you with an excuse, and that's part of the hustle. Oh, I got injured, Canelo, I was injured. You know what I'm saying? Stephen Fulton, something, you know what I'm saying? They robbed my house. I was not 100%. Everybody got an excuse. That's part of the hustle. And then it leads to the next fight. Oh, now I'm 100%. Now I'm in the greatest shape of my career. I had problems going, and then it's a continue. It's all a hustle. It's all a hustle, folks. Boxing ain't real, no, man. Boxing ain't real. Boxing ain't real. That's it. I'm gonna tell you like this. I used to think that boxing was the toughest sport, the most difficult sport. No, it's not. It's the easiest. It's the easiest sport. Yeah, I said it. I know a lot of people in boxing are gonna be like, nah, come on, man. No, it's the easiest sport because Jake Paul cannot walk into an NBA finals. He can't just hit a 98 miles per hour fastball by an elite pitcher. But he could just walk into the sport of boxing and fight Anthony Joshua and go rounds. Logan Paul could just fight a Floyd Mayweather to a decision. Nowadays, boxing is easy because of these boxers, bro. They got no pride. They got no principle. You got a kickboxer fighting, at the time, arguably the best boxer that boxing has to offer, Alexander Usyk, and he almost lost that fight. Lucky with the referee, he almost lost that fight. He was getting outboxed by a kickboxer. When Tyson Fury was in at a point where people were saying, yo, Tyson Fury could be any heavyweight. He let Francis Ngannou, a novice, never wear a boxing glove, and knocks him down. These guys are so, they embarrass boxing, bro. And then people gonna come to them and chant, yo, but yo, Push, talk a little bit more about boxing. What's happening? Why you don't talk too much about the X's and O's and the technique? Because these guys are hustlers already, bro. These guys don't give a damn. These guys don't give, they talk and they tweet more than anything. Most of these guys are fake. Most of these guys in boxing is fake, and it took me a long time to say because I never won. I was given the sport that I love, and these fighters that what I used to say, modern day warriors. If you familiar with the channel, I used to say modern day warriors, modern day gladiators, the one that put their life on the line for pure entertainment. They don't even put their life on the line. They don't put their life on the line. They don't even take risks no more. Their risk is just stepping inside a ring, and that's enough. None of these guys got killer instinct. Shout out to David Benavidez. I admire David Benavidez. That's a guy to watch. Shout out to David Benavidez. Now, you ain't no Uwe. You know what I'm saying? Bam Rodriguez. These guys got a warrior spirit. They fighters. These a bunch of these other guys, drama queens. Just trying to get a bag. That's all. They ain't trying to get a fight. They're trying to get a bag. Look at, let's say, for example, look at Kid Austin. Kid Austin is very, very young. But they're waiting on a Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Has nothing to do with legacy, really. It's because they're in position to get a Gervonta Tank Davis fight. It's about the bag. How he's going to perform. Hopefully perform very, very well if he doesn't get the fight. But it's really just about the bag. The belts is watered down because they hustle the ish out of the belts already. That's why the belts is watered down. The ranking system is rigged. And guess what? I noticed, just like the networks in America have noticed. That's why I know American Network is investing in the sport of boxing. Except with the only entity that I know is real and raw, women boxing. See, the women, man, they got the retro mentality. They fight each and every all the women fight like it's their last opportunity. Because it's not about money with them, because they don't even get paid. A lot of these women boxers, like back in the days, they got their regular jobs and stuff like that. Only very, very few ladies get paid, like Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields, Alicia Baumgartner, Michaela Mayer. Outside of them, a lot of these women hold jobs. It's not enough. So they do it for the love of it. They do it for the love of it. They do it for survival. This is not a survival. This is not a poor man's sport no more. It's a rich man's sport. When it comes to the men's side, they became divas. And you could tell. And look, Errol Spence, Andre Ward asked him, "So why you fighting?" I felt bored. Nah. You in it to get just another payday. And what did he said during the interview? He said, "I'm already thinking about vacation. I'm already thinking about where I'm going to take my kids and my wife." Look at that. Because it's about the bag. It's about the bag. You think he's fighting Tim Tszyu because he wants to get on top? He never said anything about being on top of my game. He didn't say, "Oh, I want to become an undisputed in the 154-pound division." Ladies and gentlemen, this is a money grub. That's what boxing is now. It's just a bunch of fighters trying to get the bag. And once they get the bag, that's their victory. That's their victory. That's it. And we out here as boxing fans arguing, debating with one another, calling each other's names. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it more than us. All these fighters, competitive-wise, have checked out. 90% of these fighters, especially I'm talking about the male fighters in boxing, they already checked out. The high investor ones already checked out. They got a check waiting for them. That's it. That's like, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of the mindset. If I tell you, yo, what's the date? We in June, right? We in June 18th. I'm gonna tell you, in August 25th, I got $2 million waiting for you. You gonna get on August 25th. You gonna get $1 million, $5 million. You're gonna get $5 million. You know what you're gonna do in between? You're gonna play it safe. You don't want to F up. You're not gonna do no stupid decisions and stuff like that. You're gonna play it safe. You're gonna be like, man, you know what? I'm not gonna F up. I'm gonna stay in line because I got $5 million waiting for me. It's almost like being on probation. Like being on probation, but you got a $5 million to you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. These guys are divas, bro. They ain't no warriors. These guys ain't no warriors no more. They're not gladiators. Boxing is done.